Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for Chapter 4 Geography Part 1 Atmosphere Air. In this video we are going to discuss about composition of atmosphere. As we already know that land and water is very important for our life, and like land and water, air is also significant or important for our lives. We cannot exist or we cannot survive without air, and it is the basic source of our breathing system. Actually, the air is mixture of various gases which surrounds the earth. When the air is calm, we cannot feel or we cannot perceive it. But when air is in motion, the air can be felt. Now the total mass of air which is surrounding our earth is known as atmosphere. Now gases, water vapors, dust particles are the important significant component of the atmosphere. Now these all the gases, the water vapor and dust particles, they combine together to form the atmosphere. And the gravitational force of the earth holds the atmosphere around it. This is the reason, as the earth holds the gravity of the earth holds the atmosphere is dense near the earth's surface. It is very dense near the earth's surface, but when we are going away from the earth's surface, it starts thinning. Now it merges into space, and thus there is no definite boundary between atmosphere and space. The atmosphere extends up to a height of 1600 km from the surface of the earth. Now we will understand the composition of various gases in the atmosphere. Now when we talk about the composition of the atmosphere, it is made up of various gases, water vapor, dust particles, etc. Now a combination of various gases like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, carbon dioxide, helium, neon, hydrogen and ozone, etc. Make the atmosphere. These various gases together make the atmosphere. So here we have a table which is showing the composition of the atmosphere. You can have a look over here. So you can see the gases nitrogen. So nitrogen is there is 78.08% of volume of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. Likewise, 20.94% of volume of oxygen is present in the atmosphere. 0.93% of volume of argon is present in the atmosphere. 0.03% carbon dioxide is present. 0.0018% neon is there. 0.0005% helium is there, and 0.00006% of ozone is there. When we talk about hydrogen, hydrogen is 0.00005% of hydrogen is present in the atmosphere. So you can see the composition of gases which is present in the atmosphere. Also a graph is given here. You can see the orange color, the orange area which is showing in the graph is nitrogen, the blue color is oxygen, the yellow color, which is very little of the portion, is carbon dioxide, the gray color portion which you can see is argon and other gases. So here you can see nitrogen is present in more of the amount in our atmosphere. So here we will go one by one for all the gases which we have in our atmosphere. So first we have nitrogen, which is the higher amount of gas present in the atmosphere. So you can see its concentration is higher in the atmosphere, that is about 78.08%. And this gas is found up to a height of 128 kilometers from the Earth's surface. It is lighter than oxygen and carbon dioxide. Both the plants and the small organisms like bacteria, etc., they need nitrogen for their survival. So for their survival, nitrogen is important. Plants do not take nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, but they get it from their roots. They do not take the nitrogen directly from air. If you would have read the photosynthesis, you would have read that they take carbon dioxide when they are doing photosynthesis, and they release oxygen, and when they are not doing photosynthesis, that time they are taking oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. So here you can see the nitrogen is directly not inhaled or taken by the plants from the atmosphere. They take nitrogen from their root. And you would have also read about some of the insectivorous plants which do not get the adequate amount of nitrogen, and they trap insects to fulfill their nitrogen need. So you can understand these things. Also, nitrogen is a tasteless, colorless and odorless gas that retards combustion. That means combustion is the process of burning. You would have read in the earlier classes. And it is difficult to control fire without nitrogen. The next important gas which we have in our atmosphere is oxygen. So this is the second more plentiful gas in the atmosphere. That means the higher concentration is of nitrogen. So at first place you have nitrogen, and on the second place you have oxygen. Now as you read, as we discussed, nitrogen is lighter than oxygen and carbon dioxide. So here you can see oxygen is heavier than nitrogen and it is lighter than carbon dioxide. It is heavier than nitrogen, but it is lighter than carbon dioxide. Now its concentration is about 20.94% in the atmosphere. Oxygen is also called life gas, and I hope you would be knowing why it is called so. It is called the life gas as it is the basis of the life for all organisms, including human beings. So as it is important or it is the basis of the life for all the organism, it is called life gas. Now oxygen is essential for combustion, and as we discussed, combustion is the process of burning. So oxygen is essential for combustion. After understanding nitrogen and oxygen in the air, we should understand the greenhouse effect. And you must have read about the greenhouse effect. Actually, greenhouse effect means the problem of gradual rise in temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. And the reason behind this is increase of gases such as carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now this carbon dioxide is the gas which has capability to trap the heat of the sun. And the heating up of the earth through this process is termed as greenhouse effect. Now any of the gases like carbon dioxide, other gases are also there. So any of the gases that are thought to cause the greenhouse effect is called the greenhouse gas. Now you can see in the picture also, if you will see in the picture, you can find that there is earth, the sunlight, incoming solar energy, that means the solar energy is coming inside the earth's atmosphere, and you can see the greenhouse gases are not allowing the sun energy to go outside the atmosphere. It is trapping the heat energy in the atmosphere, which is increasing the temperature of the atmosphere. Now why it is called greenhouse? What is the story behind this? So a building with glass sides and a glass roof for growing plants inside is called greenhouse. There is a house which is totally made of glasses, and that is for growing plants, and that is basically used in the cold countries. That is basically used in the cold countries, and the vegetables are grown in that big glass chambers. And that big glass chambers or glass house is called the greenhouse. Now what this greenhouse, why they used to grow the plants or vegetables inside that glass house? So actually the sunlight enters the glass house. However, it is trapped inside. The sunlight is trapped inside that glass house, and it is the sunlight is unable to come outside that, and like this, when it is trapped inside that glass house, it is increasing the temperature inside. And as you know, in the cold regions it is very cold, so it is trapping the heat for more time, which helps the plants to grow. And in the same manner, Like you can see the sunlight is coming inside that glass house, but it is not going outside. That glass house is trapping the heat inside, and like this it is keeping warm inside for a long time. The same way this greenhouse effect also works. The Earth's atmosphere also works. The greenhouse gases also works in the same manner. The sunlight is coming inside, but it is trapped in the atmosphere by the greenhouse gases, and like this it is keeping that atmosphere warm for a long time, and like this it is increasing the temperature gradually. Now the outgoing heat is blocked by carbon dioxide layer and water vapors present in the air. The excess pollutants in atmosphere have formed this layer, and like this they are trapping the energy, and the earth is getting gradually warmer, and this earth's warming condition is called global warming. And this global warming is causing a climate change. Because of this climate change, there can be extinction of some of the plants and animals. Many glaciers on high mountains like Himalayas and Arctic are melting at a faster rate because of this global warming. So as a result, the sea level is rising and causing floods in the coastal areas. So this is the whole condition of greenhouse effect, from where this name greenhouse effect came, how it is named. So what is the working style of this greenhouse effect, greenhouse gases, and what is the effect, what is the result after that? So result is the global warming, and because of the global warming, what are the situations which are coming ahead, that also we discussed. Now we have some questions for you. What is greenhouse effect? Now you need to do this question answers. What is global warming? What are the consequences of global warming? So we have discussed all these terms just now. So you need to read this again and you need to do the question answers. Now the next gas which we are going to discuss about is carbon dioxide. And this is the heaviest gas of the atmosphere. And it is a highly variable gas of the atmosphere because its concentration always varies with the variability of the level of pollution. As the pollution increases, it increases. As the pollution decreases, it decreases. So it is a variable gas, and it can decrease and increase with the level of pollution. Now the concentration of this gas is about 0.03% in the atmosphere, and it is essential for the growth of plants because plants prepare food with its help. As you know, plants need carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis. Now carbon dioxide keeps the atmosphere warm by absorbing sun rays. It is also used by plants to release oxygen, and as you know, human beings and animals release carbon dioxide and inhale oxygen to stay alive, and here you can see a dependency of the plants and human being and animals. So other living beings depend on plants for the oxygen, and plants depend on other living beings for carbon dioxide. So Here you can see the dependency of the living beings. Now the amount of absorbed carbon dioxide by plants seems to be equal to the amount released by the human beings and animals. It should be there, and that is when there will be a perfect balance in our environment. When the carbon dioxide released by plant and the oxygen released by human beings will be equal, then only a perfect balance can be seen in the environment. But its balance is disturbing day by day. It is not like that, because the factories, industries, vehicles, etc. are adding a huge amount of pollutants in it. And this imbalance is adversely affecting Earth's weather and climate and our day-to-day life. Now the next is ozone. The next gas which we are going to talk about is ozone. And ozone is produced by the action of the solar radiation on oxygen gas, which is present in the atmosphere. Now, 3 molecules of oxygen are contained in the ozone gas, and it is highly reactive form of oxygen. The concentration of this gas is about 0.00006% in the atmosphere, and this absorbs harmful ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. Next is dust particles and water vapors. Now, there is unprotectable portion of water existing either as a gas like water vapor or liquid like rain, cloud, sleet, etc. and solid like snow, hails, etc. as well as the other solid particles like smoke and dust. These kind of things are unpredictable in atmosphere. There is a great contrast in the weather and climate, and that is because of the variable water content. Now, the concentration of water vapor and dust particles vary from time to time and place to place, as we already discussed that this portion is unpredictable in the atmosphere. It can vary from place to place or time to time, and it is mainly concentrated near the oceanic floor. When you compare to land areas, it is in land areas it is less, but when you talk about oceanic floors, there you can see the high concentration of the water vapors compared to land areas. Now, these dust particles play a significant role in the process of condensation, and these are called hygroscopic nuclei because it provides a center around which a raindrop forms. Now, the water vapor and dust particles both are found in the lower layer of the atmosphere. Here we have some questions to check your progress till now. So the questions are, why are the gases important for human beings? Number 2, what would happen in the absence of the gases? Number 3, dust particles play significant role in our atmosphere. How? So you need to answer these questions. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.